My name is Nick Pappas, Acting Chair of the Natural Resources Commission, and I'm calling this public meeting to order at 7 p.m. Tonight's NRC meeting will be a hybrid in-person and Zoom meeting. We have a microphone set up on the commission table, and plans will be projected through the TV monitor. If you are presenting via Zoom, please turn on your audio and microphone when it is time for you to speak. Following the presentation by the petitioner and questions from the commission, members of the public will have the opportunity to ask questions and provide public comment. Please identify yourself with name and address for the record. You can also raise your hand from your phone by dialing *9 and use *6 to unmute. All video screens will be turned off with the exception of any commissioners attending virtually and the current petitioner. Once the commission has acted on an application, the petitioner is free to leave the meeting. In the event of any technical difficulties, all matters on the agenda that have not been heard will be automatically continued to the August 9th meeting. Please note that the meeting is being recorded. At this time, I ask the commissioners to introduce themselves.
Jim Smith.
Bill Cremeza.
Thank you. And we have an agenda. Sorry. We have no minutes to approve, is that correct?
Correct.
Right. And commissioner comments?
Nope. No for me, Jenny.
No.
No.
Moving on, director's update.
Drought status from the state. We're anticipating that will be downgraded with the recent rains, but we haven't heard anything yet. But we're hopeful that we'll see that soon. The garlic mustard pull is ongoing right now through this Saturday. So if you want to help with that effort, pull garlic mustard from town lands and roadsides, please pick up some bags outside. I'll be presenting with representatives from the American Farmland Trust at the Spring Ag Committee Forum tomorrow night, 6 p.m. at the main library branch in the Goodwin Forum. Conservation crew begins, the first one will start May 19th and the second one May 27th. And we're very fortunate to have the same crew that we had last year returning this year. And the next Warner's Pond Task Force meeting will be held on May 22nd. This is the next meeting after the public forum and really going to be drilling down into what the recommendations are for the NRC.
And let's see, public comment period. The public comment period is limited to up to 10 minutes with no more than 2 minutes allocated to any one speaker. Public comment is limited to items that are not on the agenda.
Mark Aylis, 62 Prescott Road, speaking for myself. I previously forwarded to the commission a letter I wrote to the select board urging representation of NRC on the land use task force. I believe that at their meeting, they declined to implement anything on that. Kind of saying, we have, 9 members is enough, etc. But anyway, I think that's very short-sighted of them. I think that in evaluating uses for properties, it makes sense to look at the geology, the topography, the water resources, other resources first before you decide what's the best use or what to build on it. And so I kind of leave it up to the commission whether they want to send any, any requests to the select board or figure out a way to sort of track this. But one thought, based on a conversation I had earlier today with Nick, is that without burdening a member of the commission or asking the select board for action, if there was an ex-member of the Public Works Commission, ex-commissioner, who was familiar with these kind of issues and of water, etc., if they volunteered to kind of try to follow what that land use committee was doing and report back to NRC or something, that'd be one way to kind of get early information and back and forth so that we could be more efficient. Because I think waiting until plans are made is not the most effective way for the town to come up with the best solutions. And another thing that Nick pointed out was that in addition to what I had put in that letter about MCI Concord having riverfront, that could potentially be a very valuable, use of land for the public and nature corridor, et cetera. Kai's Road here floods. And, you know, before somebody says we're gonna put X, Y, Z here, it would be good to have that all out in the open so that the early consideration of uses takes into account those physical aspects of the land. Thanks.
I have a quick question for you, Mark, if you don't
Yeah.
mind. I meant to look this up. I'm not that familiar with their charge. What is the charge to the task force, to land use?
They just approved it. I think they had made some amendation. I'm really not sure. I remember going to some presentations with Megan Zamuto and the deputy town manager, and I know Paul Baum was kind of weighing in on some things, who's gonna be new select person. But I think it's really looking at, trying to come up with a matrix of desired, needs and uses, like police and fire facility, public works facility, development, MCI, and kind of match that up with these different properties, including I guess it's the Peabody School that was closed, and desire to have recreation facilities, because I think Recreation Commission is on this. So I think it's a major mistake not to look at the land and the water first or early. But anyway, the charge is as approved, I guess, is on the select board packet for their meeting on Monday.
Okay, that's very helpful.
Thank you very much.
I'm gonna say something too. Yeah, Tanya Galis, 62 Prescott Road. So, to add to what Mark said about the, and former member of the Public Works Commission, it could also be a former member of the Natural Resources Commission. And I have something related but separate, which is that, the Climate Action Committee is going to, formulate their plan. And I have asked them, and I've written to the select board also, to include natural resources considerations into climate action decisions, because there was an Article 23 in town meeting 2018 about that, in addition to the Article 51 of 2017. And there is this perception in the Climate Action Committee that the Natural Resources Committee, or in fact, even the conservation committees, are taking care of all that. And so I pointed out that the conservation committees are informal community get-togethers and not a committee. And so I'm just mentioning it in case, while their planning is going to be underway, you might be in touch with them about this. One thing is that their chair at the time, they agree with the principle of this, but there isn't anyone there who is an expert on the matter. And it would be nice to have somebody articulate in ecology and wildlife, et cetera, to kind of be on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya.
Let me ask a question. Is it worthwhile for us to have this on the agenda item for the future, for us to have a discussion about this?
I was wondering that myself, especially as Mark brought it. Well, there were two issues there, but yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's worth consideration.
Yeah.
Put it on the agenda so we can discuss it. Otherwise, we can't,
yeah, that would be good, I think.
especially, yeah.
Good, thank you.
Okay, on the agenda, any other public comments? No further. Let's see, next on the agenda, application to be withdrawn without prejudice. This is the NOI for Neshota Country Club, 1861 Sudbury Road, DEP file 1371693. And this is being withdrawn, because of changes that made it more practical to create a new NOI rather than stick with the old one, which is not quite up to what was required. So we need a motion to accept the application to withdraw without prejudice.
And I move that we accept to the application to withdraw without prejudice the notice of intent of Neshata Country Club at 1861 Sudbury Road, DEP file 137-1693.
I second it.
I vote. Jim?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Okay, and then we have some continuances. You take those, Bill?
Sure. I move that we continue without discussion the following applications and notice of intent for Concord Country Club, 246 Old Road to 9 Acre Corner, DEP file 137-1698. Notice of intent for 18A College Road, DEP file 137-1690. And the notice of intent for 154 Southfield Road, DEP file 137-1641.
Second.
Vote.
And then, well, before I do have a question, do we, I mean, it seems that a Nurse Neck Hill Road has been like continued many
Both of
times.
those.
Both
have been
of those,
right in
yeah.
the timeline.
Do we have any sense of when any of those are coming up, or is that even that appropriate to ask?
Well, so, no, it's fine to ask.
No, it's just about discussion.
Yeah.
Well, it's fine. I think it's fine to ask why they keep being continued.
Well, I was more asking if when we thought we would see them again. It's just a question of we keep continuing them until week after week after week. And if it's really like 2 months from now, shouldn't we just continue them to 2 months from now? That's really the point of my discussion.
Yeah.
Question.
We can ask them to provide a more date certain. We have not been able to get that so far,
Okay.
but we will ask again.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
And maybe, Nick, just to say, I'm not sure if anybody is here, in the public for the, 246 Old Road to 9 Acre Corner, the Concord Country Club, filing, but they just, continued this afternoon. So they were on the agenda until just this afternoon.
Okay, so let's see,
They can continue that to us.
Yes, to June 11th. Yes,
Okay.
June 11th.
let's see, we had the motion in the second.
Right,
but we-
I'm an aye.
I'm an aye.
I'm an aye as well. So, it's the continuing for the evening. And the ones we're gonna hear, the first one, notice of intent, all 445 Pittsburgh Turnpike, DEP file 1371702. And, who's presenting?
Hello, I'm here online for that.
Good,
Daniel.
Daniel.
All right, hello everyone. If someone can give me the screen share, please. In the meantime, for the record, hi, my name is Nathaniel with Stansky McNair, and this is for 445 Pittsburgh Turnpike.
Yes, and I think at this point, I believe you've provided all the information that was previously requested. Is there anything new we need to know about?
Nope, if you are familiar with what we have provided, and you don't feel like I need to go over it, then there is nothing else new. If you would like me to go over it, I will, but that should be it.
Oh, that's fine. I think that's fine. Any commission questions, commissioners?
No.
No,
Any public comment? Nothing? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to close.
I move that we close the DEP file for 445 Fitchburg Turnpike, DEP file 137-1702. With findings A and standard conditions 1 through 20, special conditions 21 through 55.
Jim, second.
Second.
We'll vote. Jim?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Good luck with the project, Ben.
All right, thank you. That might be a record fastest meeting too.
Got a few more to go. Okay, next is notice of intent, Ahmed, 355 Garfield Road, DEP file 137-1688. And who do we have for that? We have Dave Crossman presenting, or?
Hi there. I'm gonna present for this.
Okay.
Angie Verge, certified landscape designer and state certified horticulturist. I prepared the planting plan for the restoration of this property, as well as the invasive plant management plan. We were before you last month with our original plan, and you had requested us to come back with a more robust planting design that adhered to your mitigation policy.
Right.
Want me to pull that up or?
Yeah, please.
Okay. I sent a request to share.
We should be able to, put a major co-host, but
Okay.
yeah, I just saw that.
Okay. Okay. So this is the revised planting design. If you remember, this is a property on the Sudbury River where 40 trees were removed. An enforcement order was issued for the restoration plan. So we went ahead and notated that the area of disturbance is 13,000 square feet. And within that, we now have a planting list that, again, adheres to the calculations and spacing for that 13,000 square feet of disturbance per your mitigation policy. So we now have a significantly larger number of trees and some shrubs as well. A lot of the existing oak trees are starting to resprout, so we were going to consider half of those as shrubs to be included into the shrub count because they are growing pretty bushy, which is nice. They're putting on a lot of growth. In addition to this, we are proposing that this is going to be hand done because of the slope. It's not appropriate to bring equipment in for this installation. So we're going to be hand digging, and because of the slope as well, we're sticking with the number 5-gallon pots per your plan, but we're also proposing a few of them to be 3-gallon pots, simply because I was a little bit concerned about the amount of disturbance we would be introducing to the site by digging all of these holes, because currently stumps are existing, so the site is very stable for the most part, and some of the ground covers are starting to come in. So that is our plant list. We're also going to introduce a New England Upland Erosion Control seed mix to cover the area to, again, help with establishing some vegetation while the plants are still small and growing in. In addition, we have a invasive plant management report, management plan that I can share as well. And I think the intention of the management plan here is that there's not a lot of existing populations of invasive plants on site currently. There's probably maybe 1,000 square feet of some bittersweet starting to pop up here and there from an area that was previously mowed. So I think the intention is because we lost the canopy once the trees were removed, we now have this existing slope that clearly has invasive plant seeds, just waiting for the right conditions. So the plan is going to entail primarily, here are some photos of existing conditions. So as you can see, the site is relatively stable. The intention is really to monitor it 3-4 times a year to make sure that we don't have the emergence of some new plants. The proposal is just going to be hand removal. We don't anticipate there being any sort of need for herbicide use because right now it is relatively stable and not a huge population. So I don't know if there's any further questions or Delia, if you have any comments.
I think there, a couple of things have been included in the conditions, June 15th planting deadline.
Okay.
And also, a special condition for supervision of a qualified botanist as well. So I think those are in the conditions, so there's nothing you need to do about that other than
Okay.
follow the conditions.
I have a question. I see a dock down below. There's a trail that goes down there? Is it an established trail or is there a new trail going to be developed or is it just
Established,
just established trail? Okay.
that's been permitted for a long time.
Okay.
Any other commission questions, Jim? No? Okay.
Good.
Any questions from the public? Seeing none, we'll entertain a proposal.
Sure. Yeah, I move that we close the hearing and issue a order of conditions for 355 Garfield Road, DEP file 137-1688 with the finding of A and the standard conditions 1 through 20 and special conditions 21 through 59.
Jim,
Second.
vote, Jim?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Good luck with the project.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay, moving on.
As a matter of course, this is
yeah.
a question, as a matter of course, the applicants get all these at the same time, so they've had a chance to review all these special conditions or not?
No.
Okay.
No, we highlight anything that's unusual, usually at the meeting, but, we don't send them out in advance. It comes a back and forth.
We have had a couple of instances where people have subsequently come back to the committee and asked to discuss them
Mhm.
because they had some concerns about some of the special conditions.
Got it.
We worked it out that way. Okay, moving on. The next one, they have abbreviated notice of intent of for Benny and Wang, 25 Spencer Brook Road, DEP file 137-1706. Do we have this evening?
Hi, I'm Eve Eisenberg, principal with Inkstone Architects, with my teammate here, Mike Lubeck, who prepared the NOI. And actually, why don't you take this?
Sure, we were here last meeting and you had requested a little bit extra information to be provided on the plans, which we had sent in a memo outlining what was added, including the driveway addition, the stockpile area, and locations of new tree plantings to help offset with 1-to-1 mitigation. And I think that is it. There might have been one other thing in there.
No, I think that was it.
Um,
The stockpile area, you got that one?
yep,
And tree
and-
protection too.
and the tree protection as well, yes.
Yeah.
So that's all on the plan and you were able to review that.
There was one comment from the staff. It was noted that you have some Atlantic white cedar on the plan. And those are obligate wetland trees, and there may be some issue about their long-term prosperity in that location. And you might want to, we're not gonna stop anything, it's just you might want to consider others, and if you do,
Okay.
you have to notify staff.
Okay,
Yeah,
Okay.
certainly.
And, any comments from the commission?
So we're okay with the types of trees that are being proposed and where they are being proposed? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, just a question on the cedar, just because they are very wet and where they're proposed is that it looks a little drier than what. But,
Your call.
it's your call.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
just,
these are the trees our homeowner has access to, at her
Yep.
parents' 100 acres. And I'm sure if it fails, she will plant a different one, another hemlock or instead of the cedar.
Okay.
But thank you, we'll let her know.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Any public and any other commission comments? No. Any public comments? Anything? No, okay. Then I think we're ready, to issue, if someone would make a motion.
Sure, I will. I move that we close the hearing and issue an order of conditions for DEP file 137-1706 at 25 Spencer Brook Road with findings A and B, standard conditions 1 through 20 and special conditions 21 through 55.
Second.
Vote, Jim,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Good luck with the project.
Thank you for your
Thank
time.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, next one up. Notice of intent. Fabio's Construction, 77 Walden Street, DEP file 137-1704. Who's presenting?
Yes, I will be presenting. My name is Montgomery Stemsky McNary. Let me share my screen. Are you able to see the plan?
Yeah. Yes.
So last time we were here, the commission has some concerns about the swell we're proposing in this area.
Yeah.
So we changed the grading a little bit so that the water flows this way. This is the old plan. You can see some of the water will be flowing towards the house. So we adjusted that grading a little bit so that the water flows further away from the house. So makes drainage better in this property.
That was the only change.
Yes, that was the only change.
Okay. Any commissioner questions?
No, that was simple.
Comments? Any
Yep.
public comments? Nothing? Okay. I think we're ready to. Entertain the motion?
Right, so I move that we close the hearing. And issue an order of condition with respect to 77 Walden Street. DEP file 137-1704 with findings A and B. And conditions 1 through 20 and special conditions 21 through 52.
I second it.
A vote?
Aye.
Bill or Jim?
Aye.
Aye.
Bill. And I'm an aye as well. Okay, we're approved.
Thank you very much.
Good luck
Thank
with the
you.
project. Okay, moving on to new applications.
You may have to wait a minute.
Yeah,
I gotta-
I think we
Ahead
have
of
to wait.
schedule?
Yeah.
Oh, we've got 2 minutes ahead of schedule.
You can go to other business.
Okay, jump down.
Um,
Pension request.
Mm.
No, that's scheduled too.
That's
That is
scheduled.
scheduled, yeah.
How about the certificates of compliance?
Yes.
COCs.
It's a complaint.
Any issues on those?
So Glacier was an addition and some driveway reconfiguration, and that is good to go. And I think everyone is familiar with the Gambino project that was heard at the last meeting, and the homeowner has removed the wall from the 50-foot no build.
Oh, good, okay.
So we're good to go.
Quickly
That's
done.
good.
Mhm.
Okay, so.
I
motion-
move that, do we do these one at a time or? can we
Yeah,
do
you can
them
do them
You can do
together.
Okay, I move that we issue certificates of compliance with respect to the Glazer project, 390 Westford Road, DEP file 137-1036. And the Gambino project, 336 Lexington Road, DEP file 137-1515.
I second that.
A vote, Jim?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. And we still have a minute, maybe.
So there are two Assabet River Bluff Conservation Restriction closing documents. One is a compliance agreement that basically says that everything is
Okay.
copacetic, and if there are changes, that everybody will work together to have those resolved. And it's basically at SBT's discretion, whether those anything that needs to be resolved. And then the second one is SBT may obtain title insurance on the parcel. They haven't decided that yet. So they are asking the commission to sign something that says if they do proceed with that, that the commission is okay with that. Town council has reviewed the documents and provided comments which are reflected in what you have in front of you.
And then we're giving you, I guess, we're giving you personal permission to sign these. That's the third document.
So I actually changed it, yes, because I was thinking that Sarah was attending and
Oh.
that we would not have a quorum in person.
Ah.
But what you have to be signed from Karen
It's just the first two.
is the signatures with your.
Oh, normal signatures.
on it,
Okay,
right,
got it. So
right.
it's just the first two. So we need to,
Vote
make
to
a-
authorize the closing
okay,
document.
so I move that we authorize, this compliance agreement between the Sudbury Valley trustees, the Natural Resource Commission of Concord, and the Concord Land Conservation Trust. Both compliance agreement and the title insurance affidavit.
Second.
Okay, vote, Jim?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye,
And I'm an aye as well.
good.
And what we got? One more minute. Okay.
You're okay.
War,
Oh,
let's jump to extend Warner's Pond Task Force charge to June 30th. Any question about that?
I'm gonna speak to that. That's pretty simple and straightforward. We're coming down to the end. We need a few more weeks with 2 more meetings to follow up. And I think it means that we need to extend our warrant to, our charge to the end of June.
Okay, so we just vote on that.
Mhm.
Okay,
I'd move that we extend the Waters Pond Task Force charge to June 30th, 2025.
I will second it.
I second it.
Okay,
Aye.
okay, vote.
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well.
Good.
That's done. And it is now 7:30.
You don't need more than.
No, I think I have mutiny on our hands. if we go on to June
Back to
30.
your regularly scheduled program. So notice of intent, Concord Public Works Engineering Division, DEP file 137-1707.
Are those scam laws?
Anyone want to confess to the time?
Who's here?
Good evening, commissioners, staff. Jason Gallant with Wright Pierce here with the town engineer, Steve Dukran. I believe assistant town engineer Justin Richardson is also on the line. So by way of introduction, this is a notice of intent we filed for repair of 3 30-inch culverts that have had a failing joint under Baker Ave in West Concord. The result of that was a sinkhole that had formed and was observed back in May of 2024. Some emergency repairs were made last spring, and some paving was done last fall to stabilize the site for winter maintenance. And we're here tonight to discuss removal of those interim repairs and installation of a concrete vault under the roadway that'll allow to have some inspection access hatches for future observations and reconstruction of the road, the curb, some sidewalk repairs, and then removal using hand methods of some sediment that's been transported downstream within that unnamed stream. And we're looking at about 50 square feet of that. So that's the yeah, so we're only looking to yeah, it's square feet, but I guess it could be like a 1 foot wide, 1 foot deep is really what we're talking about, just to remove some of that material that's been deposited there.
So this sediment that has flowed from the pond down through the culvert,
No, we believe it's more sediment from the roadway.
from the silt of the sinkhole.
Yeah, it's yeah, sinkhole sediment.
Okay,
And there's a mention in the staff report about a pipe on the northwest side of Baker Avenue. That should be removed.
Right, so there's some sections of pipe
On the ground, yes?
on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, just,
So, yeah, that's.
that would be a special condition just to remove those.
Yeah, understood. That's not active drainage system. That's pipe that we don't know the source of it, but it's on the ground that we'll remove as part of this project.
Okay, very good.
okay. Okay.
It's an unnamed perennial stream, huh?
Yeah, so you,
It's up for.
I'm okay with that. You can find something. Yeah.
During town meeting. Special condition.
okay,
special
so
warrant.
the pipe broke, the pipes broke, one or more of them broke, and you're putting in the chamber in order to be able to inspect that in the future with the new pipe installed.
So the joint, so there's 2 different sections of 30-inch pipe that were fused together, and at that interface of those, that's been identified as the source of the failure in the sinkhole. So what we're looking to do is put a concrete structure that can be adapted over time that'll effectively encase that joint, and then be able to, like I said, adapt that over time should there be a future project that looks at further adaptations.
Okay. Any questions from the commission?
Now,
Any public comment? Questions? Hearing none.
Yes.
Hearing none.
We do have a question online, Alyssa.
Let me get set up. Okay, so I'm confused, so the vault has a bottom?
Identify yourself and name and address.
Oh, Alyssa Brown, 5 Concord Green.
Okay,
Okay. So I guess the first bigger question I have is whether this vault met stream crossing standards. Or is there still like a 30-inch culvert that's going through it? Don't quite understand.
The
So,
culvert is basically the stream.
so it's 3 culverts. And, if you wanna,
Sure, so there are 3 30-inch culverts right now. And what we're looking to do is interrupt them at the joint between what are some corrugated metal culverts coming in from the upstream, east side. And where the joint has failed, we're gonna interrupt that and then reconnect through this vault to the other existing 30-inch HDPE culverts.
So
So
the-
we're looking to do the work in the, I'll say, northbound lane.
Okay, so the vault doesn't go the full width of the roadway. It's just in the area where the
Right.
vault was?
It's where the sinkhole was observed, and I guess there's if you can see the plans that are on the screen now, that vault section on the lower left is looking south, so it's in the northbound lane. Where we're looking to really focus on just fixing that joint for now. And then there could be future work done later as needed, but the structural condition that we've observed requires just fixing that joint for now.
Okay, I get it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank
Any
you.
other questions? Any others? No. No others. So I guess we're ready to
Yep.
close.
So I move that we close the hearing and issue an order of conditions with respect to the Baker Avenue project DEP file 137 -1707 with findings A, B, and C. General conditions 1 through 20 and special conditions 21 through 53.
I second that.
Vote, Jim?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good
Thank
evening.
Thank you very much.
Those will not fall into that.
Okay, moving on. Request for determination of applicability. 632 Main Street, RDA file number 25-8. Do we have?
Yes, hello, good evening. I'm Joe Kester. This is my wife, Emily Simons. We're the homeowners at 632 Main Street. Here, let me present. Oh, thank you, Bert. So we'd like to replace some fences on our property that have become significantly degraded. Along the front of our home and to the west side of the property, we have vinyl picket fencing that has a lot of UV damage. It's pretty much falling apart. And along the east side and the north side, there is welded wire fencing with metal posts. Currently, that welded wire fencing goes right up to what we perceive as the border of the wetland. To mitigate that, we're proposing to move the fence line about 10 feet further into the yard. And we'd like to replace the vinyl fencing with cedar picket fences and the welded wire fence with chain link fence with the bottom bar so that we can meet the regulation for 6 inches of space under the fence.
Any questions?
Well, there's some concern about maybe moving the fence to line up with the shed.
Yeah, so they've done that with the.
They have done that with this?
Yeah, they've done that with the.
Or this revised, this
Yeah.
is a revision? Oh, okay, good.
Anything
So-
else? No?
No.
No?
Nope.
Any public questions or comments? There are none. So we have a negative determination.
I got it, yeah. So I would, is this a public hearing? This is a
it's a public meeting.
public meeting? No, so we're not closing the meeting. We're not closing a hearing for this. meeting?
You're not closing a hearing, no.
Okay. All right,
Yes.
I would, therefore, I will not move to close the hearing. And vote that we issue negative determination number 3 with respect to the project located at 632 Main Street, RDA number 25-8. with following conditions. First, that a pre-construction site visit shall be held with the DNR staff, the applicant and the contractor prior to the commencement of work. Secondly, I don't know that we have to do the second one because it has been relocated on the plan.
No, on the plan, but they need to actually do it.
Yeah.
Okay. That the new fence at the rear of the property shall be relocated outside the wetlands, to at a minimum be in line with the back of the existing shed as now shown on the plan. And after the project has been completed, the applicant shall submit a letter to the. All right. Somebody. The NRC stated that all work has been conducted in accordance with all conditions of this determination of applicability. Any changes from the RDA shall be described.
I second that.
Vote, Jim?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. You're good to go.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Looks like a great improvement.
Yeah.
All around.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry, toddlers.
Okay,
Just like my comment.
next up, another RDA for, Stone, 591 Main Street, RDA file 25-9.
Hi, good evening. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Great. My name is Peter Stone. My wife and I, we live at 591 Main Street, and we're requesting approval for a small landscaping project at our home. The work will take place within approximately 500 square feet of the 25-foot no disturb zone on our property. And our goal, we're working with Jane Rupley. Our goal with this is to really enhance the health of that area with minimal disturbance. Specifically, we're planning to remove about 50 square feet of lawn, one invasive honeysuckle bush, and 6 non-native hydrangea, and replace them with native plantings and ground cover. We may also install a bench of some sort in that general area, but we haven't finalized that specific part of the plan yet. That's pretty low stakes in the grand scheme. I guess I'll close just by emphasizing that all the work will be done by hand with straw. I think it's wattles placed for protection. And again, our goal is to increase the native biodiversity and support bees and wildlife in that area with a better landscape.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, it seems,
Another improvement.
Right, yeah.
So I'm sorry, I looked at the plan incorrectly previously, and I'm just noticing now that the bench is proposed within the 25-foot
oh,
no disturb zone. So if you do proceed with the bench, just make sure it's on the other side of that 25-foot no disturb zone line.
Okay. Yeah, that's not a problem. There's a high likelihood we won't even do the bench, but we'll note that if we go forward with it.
All right, thank you.
okay. All right, then I move that we issue a negative determination for our property at 591 Main Street, RDA number 25-9. With a negative determination number 3 with the following conditions. A pre-construction site visit shall be held with the DNR staff, the applicant and contractor prior to the commencement of the work. And second, after the project has been completed, the applicant shall submit a letter to the NRC stating that all work has been conducted in accordance with all conditions of this determination of applicability, and any changes from the RDA shall be described.
I second it. And then I have a question.
Yes.
Sorry. So do we need to say anything about the fact that we have a plan that is not really in compliance with that bench? I mean, they may or may not put it in, and I understand that they can't, and I know it says that they'll comply with everything in accordance with law, but I'm just wondering if it would be useful to emphasize the fact that the plan needs to be revised or whatever.
I think that would be best. If you could have Jane just update the plan to move that bench outside the 25-foot no disturb zone. I just made a note to put into the file that the bench would be
Right.
relocated, but it's much better to have plan showing what the.
As part of
actual-
the, should we put that in as part of the negative determination or not?
Yeah.
So I would just say, have her revise the plan. We'll send the permits out on Friday. So if she can submit that revised plan with just that change, tomorrow.
So how about saying number 3 would be with the revised plan submitted by, and what's the date? Friday.
or you could just hold the approval and just say pending receipt of revised
Right.
plans. And so
Yeah.
if she's not able to do
Okay,
it
good.
by
Let's do
Friday,
that.
then, you know, it would be by the next
Let's
meeting.
do that. I mean, you never can tell what happens 3 years from now and somebody
Right.
else owns the place and sticks a bench there and says it was on the plan.
Right.
All right, I didn't
Right.
see the revised plan. Good.
So.
So with with that amendment,
Yes,
I
that's
make
an
that
amendment.
motion.
Okay, I second that.
Okay, vote, Jim,
Aye.
Aye.
Alan and I as well. Okay, good luck with the project.
Thanks.
It looks great. Thank you for doing that, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, next up, NOI for the Neshawta Country Club. 18
Gentlemen, good word.
This is the refiled 1861 Sudbury Road, DEP, do we have a file number yet? No, DEP number? No DEP number as yet. Well,
Ready?
Yeah.
Jeffrey Brem with Meiser Brem Corporation with the engineers. Also with me is Chris Carpenter, general manager of the club, and Josh Burgle, the landscape architect. Hello, give me a few minutes, and by the way, I am impressed, like you can't believe, 9 items and or whatever, and.
That's right, it's not over yet.
Don't jinx us.
Don't jinx us.
Yeah, don't think.
I'll
don't think
probably
we're gonna-
blow it right now. Yes, you're right, we don't have a file number, and we're not exactly sure why, it's happened to us a couple times lately. I called the DEP, left a message on their helpline, but that's about it. We submitted this as earlier tonight, we withdrew and you approved that, the previous application. The major change is that we're changing the shell of the actual pool itself, and Delia thought that that work is a little bit different than just doing the decking, and it required a new filing, so I won't go through a lot of the stuff that we already talked about, because
Right,
for timing, but I do want to tell you, that we submitted the whole new application, with all the plans and so forth. The checklist for stormwater, which was added by Bert's request last time we submitted that. We also asked for a waiver of the fee, local and state, and that may be why the state is not issued the file number, maybe because we paid the fee, but we asked them to waive it, so maybe that's the reason. So the plan is up there, so the pool shell, there's a sheet that I submitted in one of your memos that shows it, is just turned like 10 or 12 degrees. In a different direction, and the reason why we're doing the shell as described in my letters is that. We're doing all this work, we're changing the pumps, we're changing all the piping, taking up the deck. It's a 25+ year old pool, part of it's about 20, just over 25 years, part of it's even older than that. Some of the walls go back to the original club, probably in the 60s. So what Chris is worried about is, as he probably should be, is that we do all this work and then all of a sudden a leak develops and we gotta redo it all. That's kind of silly, so, and the pool wasn't really oriented to anything, it wasn't oriented to the clubhouse or the addition. And so by reorienting the pool, we're kind of fixing that as well. So that's the big change, the pump filter equipment shed, the 416 square foot addition of the car barn, that stays the same. Basically all the lawn areas, the access ways, the fencing, the gates to the fencing, all that's the same, the lighting's the same. We did submit a lumen plan that Delia and I are going over. There's one, looks like there's a mistake. All of a sudden, there's a 14 figure that doesn't make sense. The OP, by the way, Delia, it stands for a power pole, so you could plug something in. That's all that is. So we'll fix that up. We have some time before the file number. Some of the work around the kiddie pool, we're expanding the kiddie pool, as I said before, and we're moving the retaining wall and some of the fencing around that. That's essentially the project. We also submitted a lot of information that you had requested on the AstroTurf or the artificial turf, as well as lighting, lumens, colors, all those things matching up. So that has all been submitted. We also got a letter from Natural Heritage. We had to get a new letter from them because it's a new filing. So their original letter was January 2nd, and then their new letter is May 12th, both of which say there's no take. And I think I did pretty good. That was 4.5 minutes. So
let's see, there was possibly a loose end about adding 2 cedars in the vicinity of the proposed addition.
excuse me,
Adding 2 cedar
Your
trees.
cedar trees?
2 cedar trees, yes. So there was some trees in the back. Josh, why don't you explain that while you're here?
Right, you're looking at the trees by the
cart barn.
Mhm.
Yep, so there are existing cedars there, they will remain. We've added the addition in such a way that it won't impact those existing trees. And we wanted to make sure that there were additional screening and just native trees right there.
So you're not putting in cedars because you're keeping 2 cedars.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was confusion last time because one of the plans had addition in the wrong place, an earlier version.
Yeah.
And I also would say the bottom line net is a 417 square foot removal of impervious area.
Okay, that's good.
And I'm just not following everything, but I assume that the reorientation of the pool, however it's being reoriented, doesn't affect how close it is to wetlands or anything else.
No, so here, it's in a package, but that shows you the black is the existing and the red is the proposed.
Right.
It's just getting twisted a little.
We're
Got it.
net moving it out of buffer zone.
Yeah, no, that's right. Good.
And I didn't mention this before, I mean, I did mention it before, we're in riverfront, so we have to meet certain requirements statistically for riverfront, and there's a spreadsheet in the file for that.
So
You can
let's see,
track.
the photometric plan that you submitted, that just shows the new lighting, is that right?
That's correct, and Delia said she wanted us to
Show the
add,
cumulative lighting with the. old
talk to
lighting.
us about that, so, that's why Josh and Chris are here. I guess I'd like you to explain what you're looking for, so I did, but let me hear it from you directly, so go ahead.
So there is existing lighting on site right now. On the buildings, the walkways, other areas,
Just at the total club or around the pool?
Just
Around the pool.
just around the pool in this vicinity. So it's really understanding not just what the proposed lighting looks like in terms of, you know, the lumens, what is being projected, but understanding how that adds on to what the existing lighting
Or
or
in other words, the plan that was presented is just a new lighting, as if all the other lights in the place were off.
Yeah, I know there's a couple of there's a couple of safety lights on the building that shine down.
Mhm.
I don't think we're adding pool lighting. We're just adding, I think it's a couple of fence lights.
Lights on the fence.
Lights on the fence.
Yeah.
That are just very low wattage lights, so.
Yeah, the new lights are being added on the inside of the fence facing away from the resource. And so that's the addition of lighting. The existing safety lighting on the buildings is not shown in the photometric plan. Correct.
So Josh has got somebody to do that.
Right.
Yeah, so. We'll get that in. Delia also asked, not part of you, but part of the town of Concord, there's a tipping point if you break if you go 10% more on the lighting. We have to go get a special permit, so we worked this out with Paul and Elizabeth. It seems like eons ago, but it also, Delia, it's in the actual submittal to you, it's in the memo, so. There are 276 existing exterior lighting fixtures, we actually counted them all.
good,
And we're proposing 22, which is less than 10%. So
good, thank you.
So none of the existing ones are being changed, just the new ones that are being added.
correct.
Okay.
Is the rule based on number of fixtures or?
Yeah.
Not
Not the lumens.
power and interesting.
Strange.
Yeah, no, it is interesting.
And these are all,
Let's see.
we were talking about having wildlife,
They are amber
they are
lights.
amber lights.
Yeah.
So we did have concerns from one neighbor about the lighting impact, the existing lighting impact, but
Mhm.
that's not in our jurisdiction for this project, right?
Well,
Or is it?
I think it is, but it's part of a prior permit that the
Right.
building commissioner is working through with the club to resolve.
And we put, just so you know, we had, the lighting was at the tennis courts, it's just the tennis court lighting. And we put it all on a timer so that it goes off at night. It wasn't on a timer, so if it were to get left on,
Yeah,
it would cause an issue. But it's tennis court lighting that's been there for 20, 30 years. Longer than I've been there, so more than 20.
But now it's on the timer and it hadn't been
It hadn't been on before. We always had it has mandatory off at 10 o'clock, but now then the timer just shuts it off at 10 o'clock.
Got it.
We do have parking lot lights. They're not all on all night, but we do have safety lights that do stay on at night. But we kind of need those.
Okay.
It's a dark place without it.
Are they downward cast?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All of our new additions were dark sky compliant when we rebuilt the clubhouse in 2020. So
And there was another, prior to that, I think it was 2013, we did a plan which you approved with all cutoff fixtures.
Good, okay. Good. So, I guess we're okay.
I don't have a copy of the
conditions.
conditions. Do we have it? No, we
Not
don't.
yet,
We
because we're
can't-
waiting
no,
for
because they
the.
don't
additional-
Oh, right, no number yet, right, okay.
Yeah.
But is this one of these that we can,
They don't have to come
that they
back.
don't have to come back?
That's what I was
We
gonna
can
ask.
do.
If you send it in advance, the conditions.
Yeah.
I could just make sure that they're okay, which I presume they.
So,
Or, I mean, I'm happy to have them come back. I'm just asking the question. is what-
yeah, I mean, so it's just, lighting is not something that we deal with a lot, so I think I would be, my preference would be that they come back to explain the lighting and
Okay.
compliance with the, dark sky requirements. So I just,
Okay, by me.
Sure.
we don't review
Okay.
this a lot.
Okay,
But beyond that, if they get all they have
Yeah.
everything, other than so maybe we can just cut this back a little bit
Yeah.
so that
It's just the lighting.
it's just the lighting and the file number.
Right.
And did you get the historic?
We did,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, they said they
heritage
got
The
letter, yeah.
heritage letter? Cause
Yeah.
it was on here, but it's you now. got it.
We got it since that
Yeah,
was
that's right,
submitted,
that's fine.
yeah.
Good.
And that was acceptable.
so, back for next meeting, you think it depends on the DEP, doesn't it?
Well, by June 11th, I hope so. I'm gonna start calling them, so
Okay.
I already started calling them. I'm gonna
Okay, so
keep
we'll
pushing.
push it down for then,
Yeah.
and the deadline is not this Friday, but the following Friday for submission.
Actually, we have a month break. We have a
Oh,
full
that's
week
right.
because of town meeting, so you have an additional week in there.
So
Yeah.
2 weeks from this Friday.
And
So
Right.
when
did
is
you say that they approved the waiver? Does this group have to do it as well?
No, so the town manager agreed to waive the filing fee,
Oh.
because it was essentially no additional review.
Okay,
That was required for this
Okay.
project.
all right.
Oh,
Thank you.
that's
Yeah.
somebody
Thank you.
else's issue.
Yeah, I mean, but I probably should have mentioned that the club, or, I think you mentioned it at the beginning, the club
Right.
had requested that
was
the
gonna ask
filing
what that
fee,
was,
which
yeah.
was a $800 fee, be waived because
They've already paid it for the first.
they paid
Friday.
it for this first filing.
Sure, okay.
But
All right.
that's the town manager's way. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay,
We're all set.
so
with that.
we'll see you with only about lighting.
Great. Thank
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
It may just be me.
That'll be fine.
How
That'll be
we
good.
We have some questions from the.
Oh,
public.
question.
Sorry.
Sorry.
It's very hard to hear you guys.
Okay.
You talk to each other, but you don't talk to the public. What have you decided
Uh,
here?
identify
Repeat
yourself.
that, Please.
Please identify yourself.
Yes, Virginia Lemire. I'm on the Dark Sky Committee in Lincoln. And the light pollution across the river into Lincoln is horrible. Horrible. We're very concerned about it. We don't see it going off at any time of the night. We see it on 24 hours. Or we see it on all the dark night. What lights actually are currently going off and at what time?
Well, if the tennis lights are on, which we had a resident from across the river send a picture, I believe to Delia.
Mhm.
Yes.
And
I hope
those,
you saw it.
absolutely, those were the tennis court lights that were on. And now those are set on a timer to go off at 10 o'clock, if they're even on. They're not on every single night. They're only on when people are playing tennis. They manually turn them on, but they have an automatic stop at 10 o'clock. PM.
And when did that start?
Oh,
When did that go into effect?
that was probably. I'd have to look back at my email to Mr. Creedon, but I think it was probably a month ago, month and a half ago.
Really?
That we
I'm sure they're
put,
working. I mean, we see the same thing in Lincoln. People tell us it does this, but when you go and certify it, it's not the case.
yeah. I know it worked the first week it was on, because we checked it.
And you think this has been going on for a month now?
I can send back the exact date, or Mr. Creedon can tell what the exact date is, because we sent
a letter from our electricians that they had installed the automatic shut off in time. So off the top of my head, I didn't know that question was coming, or I have the date. But that has been installed and it was, you know, if it's on after 10 o'clock, it shouldn't be. And we know that. We are a business, so, and we do have the right to have them on until 10 o'clock. But they shouldn't be on after that, and they won't be on after that. Now, the parking lights do stay on, not all of them, but some of them do for safety.
So are the tennis court lights, are they dark sky compliant as well, or?
Those are not, those are all.
Can they be?
Pardon me?
Can they be?
They can, I mean, we would just need to replace them all. And it's a pretty good investment to replace the poles and the lights, but there again, we're replacing things all the time, and when we do, we're gonna put it to whatever today's code is, for sure.
It might be good if you
Let
put,
me ask, do you, as a commission, have the right to require permission that you gave a long time ago to be updated with the current?
no,
You don't?
no.
This
It's
goes,
like grandfathering. It's just, if someone's already made an investment, you can't go back and change the rules on them.
So you can't go back and make a motion sensitive.
But we can ask something like that, maybe that they put together would be neighborly to put together a plan that may go over some period of time indicating an intent to phase out the old lighting and install new lighting progressively over the next months, years, whatever. I think that would be a good faith.
I wanted to also mention that the maintenance yard that you have, that's on all night. And that is completely glaring across your whole golf course. In your maintenance,
On the
in
other
your
side of
maintenance
it.
department, which is across Sudbury Road.
On Sudbury Road, there is a security light on, there are no poles on that building, there is a security
on the
light
building.
on that building.
They're on the building. And do you have any thoughts about making those motion activated over?
I haven't looked at those, but I'll have them
Yeah,
look at.
I
I
think
mean, that's
that would be a
just
good idea,
replacing a
because
lamp.
when you
It's,
talk about dark sky light pollution and the effect that it has on the flora and fauna, you got a lot of flora and fauna out there on your beautiful golf course, that is being, impacted by light pollution.
we will look at the maintenance bar because that's something the ladder can fix and you don't have to replace the whole. Like tennis court lights, we are going to replace them. I just can't tell you when. And when we do, they will be an LED, as dark sky compliant as they make a tennis court light today that's approved by this commission. The maintenance barn light, if we can put that on the motion tractor, we'll do it right away.
Okay, so in the parking lot, you're saying that lights are going off at, number of lights are going off at some hour of the night.
Yes.
Do you know what that is? Can you bring that to the next meeting? What time those are going off? Just some kind of minimum?
I mean, I'll let Mr. Brim know. I will not be here for the next meeting,
yeah,
but
fine.
if the
For some-
commission asks,
Yeah, I
It'd be
think
good to do a
I
lighting
think
plan for
it's-
us. I see what you're doing anyway.
it's not in our jurisdiction, but I think it would be, the right thing to do would be to get together with.
we definitely want to be a good
With
neighbor.
them and come up with a long-term plan, identifying the lights in question and when they might be replaced.
Yeah, I think being a good neighbor is, that's what we're,
Right, but
we're-
that's
we're
really,
doing education in Lincoln.
but that's really between the two parties, not involving the commission, because it's not in our jurisdiction, so we would encourage that.
I mean, that for us, if we could do our, like, coming up with the plan and stuff, that needs to be an off season. I mean, we're right now,
Sure,
we're in
sure, yeah.
ice
Oh, yeah,
cream
I
season.
understand that, yeah.
So-
This is your busy time.
Yeah, but we're always looking at what's next, and that's definitely one of the items that's down the line. It's on the plan, because it's old and it's gonna get
it's
replaced.
before me and I've been there since '99, so.
Okay, great, thank you.
I'm sorry, you want my name and?
Yeah, you contact so that we can talk if we need to.
We have an online comment.
We have an online comment too. Someone?
I lived across the river, and that's how I know that. I don't live there now, but I have.
Yes.
Go ahead, Buzz.
Thank you. I really appreciate the board listening to two people.
Name and address, please.
Great. My name is Buzz Constable and I live in Lincoln and I am a past planning board chairman and I'm chairman of president of the Land Trust, Lincoln Land Conservation Trust. And I too am on the Dark Skies Committee. And I really do want to thank you for both letting Ginny Lemire speak and for the answers I think I've heard from the applicants so far. I do, and I appreciate the board's sense of its of what it can do and what it's more difficult to do. I do think that in the long run, and that may mean a matter of months, not before your next meeting, that there should be a plan. Neshata Country Club, I happened to be there a month ago at the gala for the Sudbury Valley trustees, and I too noted the parking lot and the nature of the parking lot lights. So I only speak up since you're going to get a plan. I think that's wonderful. I appreciate that. I do think I would hope that the applicant would look on your behalf and the commission's behalf at what they can do for the lights. I think it's difficult to ask the applicant to lower the height of the parking lot lights or even replace the luminaires. But it is fairly easy and not expensive to direct those lights downward. And given the importance of let's face it, the Great Meadows National Wildlife Refuge, protecting that natural resource is probably going to fall on the towns of Lincoln and Concord and up and down the river because the federal government isn't going to do very much. I think it's a great opportunity for us to ask for a plan, but I don't think it's a very expensive plan to do things which keep the direct lights off of the Sudbury River. And there are other things that I think if they look into it and we're willing to help, and I think probably Delia and other people in Concord are willing to help to make it more dark skies compliance without asking the country club to incur a great expense. For example, it is nice to shut it off at 10 o'clock. I was responsible 25 years ago for having the tennis court lights in Lincoln be light responsive, to be motion activated. And when the motion ceases, 10 minutes later, the lights go off. Well, there are a lot of lights that people stop playing tennis by 9 o'clock. And the fact is, there are both human, but moreover, because of the wildlife refuge, there are significant habitat impacts of leaving lights on till 10 o'clock. There are ways to do this that cost very little. I just saw a representation of a 10 o'clock motion activated light that fits within most fixtures. I'm not sure that would work for the tennis courts. It certainly would work, I believe, for the mechanical room, for the landscaping place. And I would hope that you would encourage, as part of your discretionary approval, that the country club agree to look at this carefully and implement something over a period of time. So I think Lincoln has taken too much of your time. I appreciate it. I'd be happy to answer questions.
That's fine. Thank you for your comments.
Yeah.
Okay, we're all set?
Okay. So you'll prepare something on lights for us for the next meeting, correct? Good. That'd be good. That'd be good.
Okay, moving on. Thanks for jinxing us, by the way. Okay, last NOI, abbreviated NOI for Stolen Hill, 91 Haywardville Road, DEP file 137-1709.
Hi, again, I'm Mike
Hello again.
and Eve over here, on behalf of, Amy and John Stoll. And so we'll try to go pretty quickly with this. So this is a largely interior renovation project, but it consists of some alterations around the exterior of the house. The site slopes from the west side from the street over to the east down into the connecting waterway between Kennedy's Pond and the Assabet River. but we're basically just calling this extension of Kennedy's Pond. And so pretty much all the site falls within the 200-foot riverfront. And that line in between the house, is the 100-foot buffer zone. So the work that falls within the 100-foot buffer zone, is we're removing, a large, second story deck, which has pavers and crushed stone underneath that. And we'll just restore all that land back to, more of a natural, type area. The new work in that area will be roughly 3-foot by 20-foot kitchen bump out on the lower level. So that's the new footprint in the back of the house. And the other change in footprint is on the other side of the house on the front, to the left there on the plan, where we're just removing a couple stone steps and adding a slightly larger porch, open porch with stone steps and a landing there.
We're also removing the stairs to the north.
Yeah, the stairs to the north, there's wooden stairs on the side of the house that are being removed. And then on the south bottom of the plan there, no additional footprint. That is just a cantilever window bay there. So that covers what we're doing for footprint changes in the 100-foot buffer zone and the 200-foot riverfront.
See,
So net, we're reducing the amount of impervious surfaces, right?
overall improvements. So any questions?
Not moving those or anything.
Good. Any public comment or questions? No, okay.
So we're set, I move that we close the hearings and issue an order of conditions with respect to the project at 91 Haywood Mill Road, DEP file 137 dash. Let's see, it says, my thing says 1709. Thank you. I was just on that thing, so 1709. With findings A and B, standard conditions 1 through 20 and special conditions 1 through 50, or excuse me, 21 through 52.
Second.
Second.
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well.
All right,
Thank you
very
for your
much.
time.
Thank you.
Okay. The last of the hearings. So, extension request, Land Conservation Trust.
Hey, Joe.
So Ferguson, 62 Neshoba Road. We're representing the Concord Land Conservation Trust. Requesting an extension to an order of conditions to by control Phragmites.
Yeah. I called you being here before in a different area of the river, right? Maybe, I think. Was it you?
Well, let's see. What
Or
was
maybe
it?
it was this original.
Yeah, no, it would have been something else probably. We're coming back for water chestnut.
Yeah.
Yes, maybe that was it.
So where is this, Joan? Is it, where is it?
Okay, so I'm sure you've all seen it because this is. That you're driving inbound on Route 2, you
Yep.
pass the hospital.
Yep.
Okay, and here's Sudbury Road.
Yep.
Okay, and you look to
Joan,
your
I'm just gonna,
right.
just for the people online, I'm gonna
Oh,
just pull.
sorry.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, that's true. 'Cause you've been-
Wait 1 second. Do we have that graphic?
You had this from the filing, the original.
Okay. I'll just. pull up the
Notice of
web map.
intent.
If you want to describe what it is, and I'll pull this up. as soon-
Okay, all right, so, and on your right, first you'll see, right along the river, you'll see a big open floodplain area where they're just scattered Phragmites.
Mm-hmm.
And then you continue further on, and before you get to, Sudbury Road, you'll see a big stand of Phragmites that's
Okay.
been there, you know.
It's
So
almost
we've had our eye on it since 2012.
It's
Oh,
been
good.
there so
Glad to hear
long, it's
that.
almost.
Yeah, okay,
native.
good.
Yeah, as we all are, right?
What are you finding is the most effective way to deal with it, or not?
Yeah, well, herbicide and, you know, foliar herbicide, because it's dense enough.
Sweet.
So that's it.
There you go, Bill.
There you go.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
It's the backside of Cedar Field.
Oh, yeah, I know exactly where that is.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
In your
Okay.
face.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, so many of these around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I mean, that's true. And it's just when we look at this area and see, you know, because you've seen what's happened in other places and you know, it would be awful to have that
Oh,
entire
God, yes.
floodplain.
Yeah.
So, you know, if we can do it, we will. You know, we've had to let other areas go.
I've
Yeah.
never dealt with Phragmites, but it's the season for garlic mustard now. and
Yeah.
There was an area behind my house. It was probably 300 square feet that I went into last year, and there were hundreds of them there. I pulled them all up. This year, there were only about 50 or 60.
Oh,
So it's like a military operation. You capture ground and you just
Mhm.
Yeah.
keep at it until you own it.
So there's no biological control for Phragmites like there are from other things yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
yeah. that
Where is
would
it?
be
Where
great.
was it originally? Where's it from originally? Do we know?
Eurasia.
Eurasia?
Mhm.
Huh.
Yeah. And now we have our new employee is licensed to use herbicides, so
Oh.
so we'll still arrange with a contractor to come in to do the big patch there.
Yeah.
But I think this will be so much easier in the third year, you know, to
Yeah,
keep after
that's-
those,
keep
like you
after it,
say with the
yeah,
garlic
that's what you have to
mustard,
do.
you just
Yeah.
keep working on it.
So my only question is, are we limited to 3-year permits? Do they need, we can't.
So you can, the first time you issue it, you can be 5 years. But then after that, it's 3 years with the ability to extend.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was just gonna ask, otherwise, if they need 4 years, we couldn't give them 4
They have
years.
to
as
come back,
opposed to having
right?
them-
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, but this, you know, this is an onerous thing to do as long as you remember.
Right.
Which the first project, I missed the deadline, and by the time we came back to file, it had to be an ecological restoration of a septic. So learned our lesson the really hard way.
That's for sure.
So we need a motion to extend.
Mhm.
So moved.
3 years.
To
extend for
move to
3 years.
extend for 3 years.
And I second it.
Okay, vote. Jim?
Aye. Aye.
And I'm an aye as well.
There you are, Jim.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Don't get that stuff.
Why not?
Okay, so that's.
It's all like.
Amended order of conditions for Elsinore Street. Let's.
Yeah, what is that?
Elsinore was the pool. And so they didn't need to come back, provided they submitted revised plans.
Oh, yeah.
And they have, and
Who is this? It was.
it was a tear down.
Oh,
And
right,
rebuild,
right,
and then
right,
they
right.
decided. Excuse me, they wanted a pool, so we had them refile.
Do we have one for them tonight?
Yeah,
Yes.
we do. It's
You
here.
got it?
So I
Okay.
would just, we're not closing anything. So we're just,
Yes, you are,
Close.
you're closed, no, it
It's
it
not.
closed at the last
It
meeting.
had to close because it's not on here. It's not issued as a, yeah, we don't have. it
It's
listed
an
as a
amended,
hearing.
you're just moving to amend the order of
Right.
conditions.
Close it last meeting. You can close it here, just close it just to be sure.
Okay, well, so I would move that we close the hearing
It's an order
and
of
issue an order of conditions, for the project at, 67 Elsinore Street, DEP file 137-1670. This is an amendment, clearly,
Yeah.
to construct the pool and patio, with findings A, order conditions 1 through 20 and special conditions 21 through 56.
And I second that.
Vote, Jim?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Okay, we did the COCs, other business, vote to assign Assabet Valley Buffer County, well, we did that, right?
Yeah.
And warrant article 34, stormwater enterprise fund expenditures.
Oh, cool.
We go down, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do I thought we don't have any material in that, do we?
On what?
The
Water.
stormwater expenditures.
I'm sorry, yes, so, that is
Letter.
Article 34. And it is, as you know, it's the
Right.
fee associated with the stormwater utility. And, it's just a question of whether the Natural Resources Commission wants to
Support.
vote to support that article for town meeting.
I move that we, if I can, as chair.
You can't
You
move.
can't.
Yeah,
go ahead.
go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
move that we support Article 34 as part of the from Natural Resources Commission.
Second,
Okay, Jim,
aye.
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. So we did that one. We extended the task force, admin approvals. You're gonna just tell us what you did. Tell us what you did.
So 147 Lawsbrook, that's, 5 trees. All of them, I think, were justified. They're not in great shape. They fell, they would hit the house. With the exception of one of them that's further in the yard. But there's gonna be a snag left on that. The issue with that one is if it falls, it's gonna take out a really nice red maple. So they're trying to preserve that tree. So I thought that was fine. And 139 is a large, very dead white pine that would also fall and hit patio retaining wall, a couple of structures, so that was good to remove too.
Okay, good. Good, okay. Move to adjourn. We don't need to move to adjourn. We adjourn.